Hey friends, it's Megan Elizabeth here with your daily check-in video for today from outside because it's just gorgeous. And today's daily check-in is actually going to be a little bit different. I'm going to read something for you that came across my news feed from elephantjournal.com. You know, elephant like the big long trunks, like, oh, you know, them. Journal, like we write in our daily threes.com. And if you just search the word "she was done," it's actually one of their top popular trending ones right now too on their homepage, but if you watch this at a later time, I'm sure you can just search "she was done" and it'll come up. I wanted to read this today because it really spoke to me and my heart. And while it's not all from the necessarily biblical sense that I personally believe, there's a lot of truth in here as well, and life to speak over yourself in different situations. So I just felt really strongly that some of you would love to hear it, and I would love for you to read it, but I just felt like, you know, some people aren't necessarily readers, and it is kind of long, and I just really wanted to share it from my heart, reading it to you, and kind of my thoughts as we go through. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh, it was written by Adrian P. on April 28th. So I love this. Okay, so it says, and hopefully I can read this in the light out here. It says, she was done not fully being herself. She realized she was the only self she could be. And not being unapologetically true to herself was a disservice to her soul and the world. She was done listening to the noise of the world. She realized the quiet voice of her own soul, or in my parentheses here, or the Holy Spirit, was the most beautiful sound. She was done questioning her motives, her intentions, the call of her soul. She realized questions seek answers, and maybe she already knew the answers. She was done striving, forcing, pushing through, and staying on the hard path. She realized toughing things out might be a sign to pick another path. She was done with friends that admonished her to admonished her to be more light and breezy. She realized they didn't understand. She swam in the deep waters of life. She felt at home in their dark depths and died if she lived on the surface. She was done with distractions, the denials, the small addictions every day. She realized if she did nothing about them, they died a quiet death that took a piece of her soul with them. She was done with dinner parties and cocktail hours where conversations skimmed the surface of life. She realized the beverages created distortion and temporary happiness that wasn't real and disappeared in the light of day. She was done trying to please everyone. She realized it could never be done. She was done questioning herself. She realized her heart knew the truth and she needed to follow it. She was done analyzing all the options, weighing the pros and cons, and trying to figure everything out before leaping. She realized taking a leap implied not fully seeing where she landed. She was done battling herself, trying to change who she knew herself to be. She realized the world made it hard enough to fully be herself. So why add to the challenge? She was done worrying, as if worry were the price she had to pay to make sure it all turned out okay. She realized worry didn't need to be a part of the process. She was done apologizing and playing small to make others feel comfortable and fit in. She realized fitting in was overrated, and shining her light made her brave, made others brave enough to do the same. She was done with the should-haves, ought-haves, and have-tos of the world. She realized the only musts in her life came from things that were beating so strong in her soul she couldn't not do them. She was done with the remorse and the could-haves. She realized hindsight never applies because circumstances always look different in the rearview mirror, and you experience life looking through the front window. She was done with friendships based on shared history and past experiences. She realized if friends couldn't grow together, they were no longer following the same path, and it was okay to let them go. She was done trying to fit in, be part of the popular crowd. She realized the price she had to pay to be included was too high, and it betrayed her soul. She was done not trusting. She realized she had placed her trust in people that were untrustworthy. She would start with the person she could trust most, herself. And in my case, God the Father. She was done being tired. She realized it came from spending her time doing things that didn't bring her joy or feed her soul. She was done trying to figure it all out, know the answers, plan everything, and see all the possibilities before she began. She realized life was unfolding, and the detours and the unexpected moments were some of the best parts. She was done needing to be understood by anyone but herself. She realized she was the only person she would spend her whole with, and understanding herself was more important than being understood by others. She was done looking for love. She realized loving and accepting herself was the best kind of love and the seed from which all other love started. She was done fighting, trying to change or not. She was done fighting, trying to change or not her accepting her body. She realized the body she came into the world with was the one she had, and there were no exchanges or returns. She loved and accepted was the only way. She was done being tuned in, connected, and up to date all the time. She realized the news and the noise of the world was always there. Something that never slowed down or felt quiet, and listening to the silence of her soul was a better station to tune into. She was done beating herself up and being so hard on herself, as if either of these things led to changes or made her feel better. She realized kindness and compassion towards herself and others accomplished so much more. She was done comparing and looking at other people's lives as a mirror for her own. She realized holding her own mirror cast her in the best and most beautiful light. She was done being quiet, unemotional, and holding her tongue. She realized her voice and her emotions could be traced back to her deepest desires and longings, if only she followed their thread. She was done having to be right. She realized everyone's truth was relative and personal to themselves, so the only right that was required was the one that she knew was true for her. She was done feeling at home in the world. She realized she might never feel at home in this world, but that feeling at home in her soul was enough. And that home we have in heaven. She was done being drained by others, by people who didn't want to take the time for their own process and saw shortcuts through hers. She realized she could share her experience, but everyone needed to do the work themselves. She was done thinking so much. There was so much that she had to learn. She realized she already knew so much, if only she listened. She was done with the inner critic. She realized its voice was not her own. She was done racing and being discontent with where she was. She realized the present moment held all it needed to get her to the next moment. It wasn't out there, it was right here. She was done seeing hurt as something to be avoided, foreseen, or somehow her fault. She realized hurt shaped her as much as joy, and she needed both to learn and to grow. She was done judging. She realized judging assumed the presence of right and wrong, and that there was a difference between using information to inform and making someone else wrong. She was done jumping to conclusions. She realized she only needed to ask. She was done with regrets. She realized if she had known better, she would have done better. She was done being angry. She realized anger was just a flashlight that showed her what she was most scared of, and at once illuminated what she needed to see. She no longer needed to hold on to it. She was done being sad. She realized sorrow arose when she betrayed her own soul and made choices that weren't true to herself. She was done playing small. She realized if others couldn't handle her light, it was because they were afraid of their own. She was done with the facades and pretending. She realized masks were suffocating and claustrophobic. She was done with others' criticisms and complaints. She realized they told her nothing about herself, only informed her of their perspective. She was done yelling above the noise of the world. She realized living out loud could be done quietly. She was done needing permission or validation. She realized she was her own authority. She was done being something that she was not. She realized the purpose of life was to be truly, happily who she was born to be. And if she paused long enough to remember, she recognized herself. To me, that was the most encouraging, beautiful thing I could have read today at the right time in my life. I've been reading through Jesus Calling. Again, I don't know if you've ever heard of it or seen it, but Jesus Calling by Sarah Young is an amazing daily encouragement that I would highly suggest any of you pick up and take a look at. And it's a day by day. It literally takes less than 5 minutes to read. It's greatly encouraging to do with like your daily threes. And it gives you perspective. It really does. And so I hope that encouraged you. I hope that it spoke to you in just a small way, even if just a portion of it, the way it did me. Because you know, we're all growing and we're all learning, and we can all hang on to mistakes. We can all hang on to the past. We can all get down on ourselves. We can all listen to outside voices. We can all think we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We're not whatever, enough. And when you can let go and be done with the worry, done with the fear, things change and things happen. And it's really too bright out here to be without my sunglasses. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm growing with you. I'm so thankful that this past week I was able to celebrate my 31st birthday. To me, 31 is an awesome thing. It's for Proverbs 31. And I realized this past week that there are more areas that are being uncovered to me, as like me having my toes in a split life, not being completely true to myself, wanting what I want and forcing things, and reacting out of fear, reacting out of selfishness, reacting out of defense, and not being true. And those are some of the most dangerous things to suck all the joy and the forgiveness and the motivation from your life. So I just really wanted to reach out to you today, say thank you so much for the birthday wishes, the birthday gifts. I didn't even show you. I don't think I even posted it on social media. I got a really awesome box from Denise. She is a Tea-Lightful representative, and she sent me an amazing box of goodies full of tea, and I'm just so excited. It was such a blessing to open up and see like my favorites, like the vanilla chai and the caramel and the rooibos, and like, I mean, there's so many teas in there. It was ridiculous what she did for me. So Denise, if you're watching today, thank you so much. We have more coming out at lifeaboverubies.com. Continuing the daily check-ins. You can check out the 3 channels that I have is Above Ruby Studio on YouTube. I also have Enjoy the Moments with Megan Elizabeth, and I also have By Megan Elizabeth. So you can check all 3 of those channels out at any time. They all have a little bit of a different topic and a twist to them. I generally keep Enjoy the Moments, the daily check-in videos, and I try to do them every single day. Of course, that doesn't always happen, and I definitely almost always avoid the weekends. And summer is coming, so that means the kids are going to be home from school. They're done next week. So it's a whole new chapter of balance in our household to get work done, to be with the kids. For my health, you know, things have been interesting, but I'm so thankful for good doctors here. I feel like I have the best team of doctors that I've ever had in my life. And that's just a blessing, and they're encouraging, and they understand my faith, and some of them share my faith, and that's huge for me. I love that. And we're working with the Life Above Ruby's team is just expanding into something so beautiful and more than I could have ever asked or thought. And it's because I finally made that choice in faith. And so I'm just thankful. Thursday night we were live again, and we talked a little bit about perseverance and when to call it quits and when to know, and how to kind of guide through some of those things. I'm so excited by the Life Above Ruby's members who have responded to that and have reached out from that, and who have joined to come on as Diamond members to literally like have one-on-one coaching with me to take the next steps in life, to figure it out, you know, with the help, and to have that accountability and to have that you know, the how-tos, the next steps. So it's such a blessing. Anyway, happy May, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Enjoy the moments. I love you tons. Bye.